Life Fellowship, where Ken Porter
That's me.
is the pastor. My name is Bev Porter. Welcome to Bev's Lifeline. Today, the title is Transitions.
Okay, transition.
And, I told him before we started this Lifeline that I'm not going to share with him what we're going to talk about. It's going to be a surprise, and it's going to be an organic conversation.
Okay.
So, you know that several months ago, you preached a sermon on transitions. And it was transformative for me. You guys, I don't know if you remember Lifeline many months ago, where when he preached for many, many months about transitions, it was instrumental for me because it helped me to have the faith and courage to transition from being employed from my secular job to retirement. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank the Lord.
That was a struggle for me. I'm used to working. I've been working since I was 13, and I like working. But I knew that it was time for me to transition so that I can work in the ministry, not necessarily preaching in the traditional sense, but to work from an administrative standpoint, which is my gift, and helping to build the Inspire Community Center and those other things to help this man
All right.
to fulfill the vision that God gave him.
Praise the Lord.
But back to transitions. So here's the question. I am still struggling from a transition standpoint. Struggling might not be the right word, but while I've transitioned from my secular job, I'm still working on my transitions. And what I mean is I'm still in that mentality of working. I'm still working,
Yes.
almost
As
regular.
many hours and as much time as you did when you were in the secular world, which we've got to work on.
We gotta work on it.
Yes.
I'm still like in my work mode. I'm still like in my work mode.
Yes.
I still work on Saturdays. I don't work an 8-hour day on Saturdays, but I'm working like a 5-hour work day on Saturdays too. That makes sense. So I need to figure out my transition. So how did you make your transition when you left your secular job? That might be an unfair question because you're a pastor, so it's very different. But how did you do your transition?
Well, the first thing I did was I got some rest. I determined that there was going to be a moment in time that I would just have no agenda.
Problem number one for me.
Problem number one.
Okay.
And then when I made this decision, I was going to do nothing until I was tired of doing nothing. Because mentally, emotionally, and physically, I had to get all of that out of my system. And if you don't give yourself enough time to get it out of your system, you will stop doing what you're doing, but you'll do something else with the same vigor. And your issue is the sense of excellence. You do everything well and you want to complete it. And that's fine. You can do that. And that's a great, that's admirable. But you also have to think about, if you don't take care of you, then what you're doing will fall, and those who you support will fall. And I know administration is not capital N-O-T, my gift. And I depend on you, but I also depend on you to get some rest. I know you don't like to take naps, but just go somewhere and sit. Just go somewhere and do nothing until you're tired of doing it. It's amazing. We had a marriage consultation or a marriage seminar one time when we sat around and talked to all of the men and the women. And the amazing thing that the women could not understand, that the men had a place that they could go to in their brain or in their spirit that allowed them to do nothing. Many of the men were asked around the table, what are you thinking about? and we said nothing. It was so hard for the women to understand or believe. How can you not be thinking about anything? It's called a Sabbath in your heart, in your mind, not to be spiritual or anything, but that Sabbath that Jesus talked about, the Sabbath for all of us, is to take rest, to refuel, to rekindle, to pause, so that we can just do a reset, a reboot. And you, my darling, have not done a reboot.
You know why? There's been stuffuses that's been going on. But anyway, I'm going to meditate on that. Ooh, that was a little bit more than what I was bargaining for in this unscripted Lifeline. But I'm going to receive it. I'm going to receive it. Okay.
If you don't reboot, I'm just going to pull the plug.
I don't want you to pull the plug. I'm going to try to reboot. I'm going to try to be obedient. This is ministry. This was not just for me. This was for all those other folks who are trying to figure out how to transition. Okay. This is ministry. Like it, share it. Those of you who know the power or pray for people who are like me. Love you.
Type A.
He said type A people. Yeah, right. Okay. Love you.
Love you.
Bye for now.